According to an opinion piece, authorities in China are trying to eliminate Christianity and replace it with a communist version of the faith. Writing in today's Washington Times, Jianli Yang says in part, quote, the arrest and secret trial of 4 Chinese Christians for selling audio Bibles in December 2020 is the latest illustration of how serious the communist government of China is on stamping out Christianity. The piece also says China is printing a Bible with communist content, sometimes replacing scripture. Joining us now is Chang, author of both The Coming Collapse of China and The Great U.S.-China Tech War. Gordon, always so great to see you. First off, what more do we know about the people on trial for selling the audio Bibles, and what exactly is their crime? What are they being charged with?
Well, clearly they're being charged with being a Christian, which now has become a crime in China. Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler, has made it clear that he's going after all religions. And it's gone beyond Christianity. It's gone to Buddhism. Buddhism is considered to be a Chinese religion, but they are eliminating Buddhism as well. So this is across the board against all religions right now. And Christians, of course, are in the crosshairs because it's thought to be a foreign religion.
And Gordon, as we mentioned, there are also allegations that China actually created its own version of the Bible, complete with communist content replacing scripture. What's the reason behind that, and why is the CCP seemingly so threatened by Christianity?
I think they're threatened by Christianity because they realize that there's fervor among Christians. And that's something that they haven't seen among Communist Party members. So they're very concerned. You know, we're coming up on the 100th anniversary of the founding of the Communist Party, and it's become not a revolutionary organization, but it's just sort of become a bureaucratic one. And people don't really believe it. They belong because they think it can advance themselves, and they really are very afraid of the faith. So, for instance, in a lot of churches, you see Xi Jinping's image instead of Jesus Christ. This is really important because it shows that they believe right now that you have to be an atheist in order to survive in China. And unfortunately, Christians are being persecuted across the board for everything.
Oh, very, very scary stuff. I want to shift gears a little bit here. Yesterday, we reported that China is changing its long-standing population control policies and will now have families have up to 3 children. This as the country faces a steep decline in birth rates. Let's talk a little bit more about that. How does that really change things? And what about those who are traumatized for wanting more children in the past?
Yes. Well, what's going on here is that China faces the steepest decline in history, demographic decline, in the absence of war or disease. China, which is now 1.41 billion, which, as they said, was the 2020, they'll probably be somewhere about 450 million, maybe 480 million by the turn of the century. In other words, they're going to lose about 1 billion people. And that has sent alarm bells through China. Now, this 3-child policy, which was announced a couple days ago, isn't really going to work because people didn't want to have 2 children. That was the change from 2015 to 2016. They're not going to want to have a 3rd child. That's because of the propaganda over decades have convinced the Chinese not to have children. They can't change this on a dime. Right now, I think China's leaders don't know what to do. And they're worried that their country could fall apart because of this social engineering program of the 1-child policy, now 2-child, 3 children. The one thing, Tracy, that's important is they're not getting rid of the family planning commission mechanisms that control people. And that means the womb police will still be in operation.
Well, really quickly before we go, we have probably about a minute left. I want to get your thoughts on this. As you know, there are calls to look further into a possible leak at the Wuhan lab. Those calls are growing louder, but China is hitting back. Are you surprised, Gordon, and do you think we'll ever get to the bottom of it?
You know, I think we might get to the bottom of this, Tracy, because I think the Chinese people, they will tell us. I think that we are going to find more people who are whistleblowers. But clearly, Beijing has been doing its best for more than a year to prevent us from learning what's going on. But I think that eventually we will find out, and it will be a lab leak of the biological weapon, is my guess.
Oh, Gordon, we're going to leave it right there. Always great to be with you. Gordon Chang, author of both The Coming Collapse of China and The Great U.S.-China tech war. Thank you again, Gordon.
Thanks, Tracy.